Right, yesterday, the Chinese Communist Party fired back against the heads of the FBI and the UK's MI5 after the two, for the first time ever, as we discussed yesterday, made history by having the two agencies share a public platform to send a strong, clear message on the serious and increasing threat that China poses to the world. With me now to explore this more is U.S. Congressman Mike Waltz. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee, a decorated Special Forces officer. He represents the 6th Congressional District of the Sunshine State. Mike, welcome back to the program.
Good to be with you, Tony.
So give me your thoughts on FBI Director Christopher Wray and the head of the MI5 standing up together saying China is a world problem.
Yeah, Tony, if this isn't a wake-up call for American companies, then I don't know what would be. This is the head of the FBI and the head of the British version, MI5, their internal intelligence, basically saying that if you do business with Chinese companies, if you do business in China, you have an incredibly high and almost guarantee that they are going to steal your intellectual property, steal your proprietary processes, and steal your patents, because Chairman Xi of the Communist Party has put a strategy in place to steal their way to the top. He has openly talked about replacing the United States as a global leader, and they're going to do it by becoming the world's technological leader. So if they can't do it through cyber, through mergers and acquisitions, or by using what they call non-traditional collectors, students, researchers, businessmen attending conferences, they'll take it one way or another. And what they then do, Tony, is they set up their own competitive entity with the stolen technology. They state subsidize that Chinese-owned business so that they can price and unfairly price people out of the market. And then they gobble up the market. And what do they do with the technology and the market share that they've stolen? They either create dependencies, as they've done with lithium, with antibiotics, with cancer medication, all the way down a whole list of things that they want to be able to produce independently and create dependency around the world so that they can turn it off and use it as a lever geopolitically. And they also give those technologies to their military through their CivMil fusion program. This is serious, and I am glad to see both of those leaders putting the word out and banging the alarm bells as loud as they can.
Congressman, the Director General McCallum said that we need to talk about this, but we also need to act. And it's certainly good to see this coming from the FBI director, and he's been stating this. In fact, recently I read something where he said, I was shocked. He said, I knew they were bad, but didn't know they were this bad. So my question for you, Congressman Waltz, is the administration actually acting upon this information? Do we see this within the gears of government? Are they addressing the threat of China?
Great question. And that's the follow-up I want to have from an oversight standpoint, because on the one hand, you have FBI Director Wray saying this, but on the other hand, they just shut down the China Initiative, which was a concerted program the Trump administration put in place to go after these professors, these researchers, these businessmen that are infiltrating our businesses at the direction of the Chinese Communist Party to steal our technology. So the Justice Department shut that down, yet as they're sounding the alarm bells. And I want to be clear, I have no issue with well-meaning, the historic, wonderful, beautiful Chinese people in many of their companies. But under this leadership from Chairman Xi, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, they have no choice but to vacuum up everything that they're directed to do. And again, it goes right to their military as a matter of state strategy.
It's a very important distinction, because I remember former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo repeatedly said that our issue is not with the Chinese people. It is with the Chinese Communist Party. And it's the same for us. Now, we're talking in the focus of the comments from the MI5 Director General and from the FBI Director, we're focused more on the economic, the technology, and of course that bleeds over into national security. didn't really talk about certainly human rights. That's what got me sanctioned by China, because they're such an abuser of human rights and religious freedom. But
Right.
you also are focused on the military side of things as the ranking member on the subcommittee on military readiness. I mean, is our military focused on the right things in terms of being prepared for the growing threat of the Chinese military?
Yeah. So here we have the most rapid military modernization, the Chinese modernization in world history, certainly in modern history. They're outbuilding us in chips 5-1. They're on track. Literally, NASA just put out a warning that the Chinese are on track to militarize the moon. They're putting a brand new space station up. They have the hypersonic weapons. And Xi is telling his country as it comes to Taiwan to prepare for war. Yet, what are we doing? We're focused on pronouns. We're focused on Pride Month. And now the Army is kicking out 60,000 soldiers, 20% of the National Guard and the reserves, because they have concerns over a vaccine that has now been proven to not stop the spread, which makes it a personal health decision of what type of symptoms that you want to face. No, Tony, that's a long way of saying we're not focused on the right things. We need to be focused on fighting and winning wars. And it's not just the threat from China and Russia. We still have Iran, North Korea, and a global threat from terrorists overlaid with 30 trillion in debt. We have serious national security concerns, and yet this is the nonsense that this Defense Department is prioritizing. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the out of control threat of white supremacy that you heard from this defense secretary. Yet his own study showed that 0.0004% of military members have engaged in some form of extremism. So their priorities are in all the wrong places.
I just want to add a little bit to the point of driving out these 60,000. That is on top of the fact that the Army has not been able to meet its recruiting numbers. In fact, they're falling short. I think about 40% short of their numbers. I mean, this just does not make sense what they're doing. And then I got this. You've probably seen this, a report that new training for Army soldiers is that they must shower with transgender persons of the opposite sex, even if they have not had the surgeries. And say, basically, get over it. If you're uncomfortable with it, doesn't matter. This is what we're doing in our military. You know, focused on all the wrong things.
Well, that's absolutely right. And again, so on the one hand, we're going to discharge 60,000 soldiers and deny them, by the way, their retirements and their benefits because, of rule of law, law and order. You have to follow orders. You can't choose, but yet you can choose what gender you are. It's just nonsensical. And that's why we have to get the majority back. This isn't just the economy. This is the nation's security. And we are losing time. The other thing the Chinese are doing is quadrupling the size of their nuclear weapons fleet. This is incredibly serious, Tony. And this is why we've got to get this thing back on track.
Yeah, this is not make-believe. It's not games. This is for keeps, and the stakes are extremely high. Congressman Mike Waltz, always great to talk with you. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon.
All right. Thank you, Tony. God bless.